Hello guys, Brawlbat1 here, coming at you with a new Yu-Gi-Oh video, and in today's Yu-Gi-Oh video, I have for you another top cut deck profile from my locals that I managed to get today, and it is of my Adventure, Brave, PK, whatever you want to call it, deck. And honestly, my Adventure PK deck is very different from a lot of the ones that you actually see out there, because I'm not playing DPE or Scythe in my deck. I chose not to play those engines for a couple of reasons. One, I felt like it made the decks less consistent, adding a lot more bricks to the deck, such as Dasher, Sythe, and also Celestial, just making the deck less consistent and taking away a lot of consistency and other cards like that. It took up way too many extra deck spaces. I felt like 3 extra deck spaces for one engine was just a bit much, so I wanted to make room for other extra deck spaces and also just make other cards in the deck, which I felt like were a lot better. And also, the fact that not every deck just loses to Sythe DPE to me just made me not want to play the engine, and just literally looking at decks like Elderlich, looking at decks like Flunderies, these decks that just don't do anything against Sythe, I was just like, yeah, these decks don't lose to Sythe, so why am I playing an engine that just does nothing to these decks? So I chose not to play that engine, and I feel like my deck did better for it. Like, honestly, I played against a lot of different decks today. I played against round 1 Flunderies, which I won. I played against round 2 Tri-Brigade, which I won. Round 3, well, 10-Yi Sword Soul, which I made a lot of misplays against that deck. Honestly, if I didn't make that many misplays, I would have just probably won. That match will be on the channel. It was a fun match, but I just played really poorly that game. Round 4 was against Prank Kids Adventure, which honestly, great deck, amazing deck. I hate Lancia. That match was literally just that, but I won regardless. Game 1, he Lancia'd me. Game 2, he Lancia'd me. I opened double evenly as well, which was insane, but he Lancia'd me, so it meant nothing. And then Game 3, I just played pure Brave, which was really, really weird, and I managed to just win. And then round 5 was against Six Samurai, the infinite combo deck, where I actually won the dice roll, and then Game 2, just opened the hand trap to stop the specific place where you need to stop them to win the match. But honestly, even though I played against a very diverse amount of decks, I feel like this deck performed a lot better than what would have happened if I did Sythe DPE, because again, if I just did a few things differently, such as in that 10-Yi Sword Soul match, I would have come probably first place, because in this tournament I came top 4, because honestly, it's just like literally that one hindrance where if I didn't make that one mistake, I would have done a lot better. So yeah, but nonetheless, I did pretty good today. I came top 4 with this deck, thinking that it's very, very strong, and I really do like it. And let's go ahead and show you guys the deck profile so you guys can see the differences that I have from the Sythe DPE package, and also give you my reasoning behind a lot of the cards in the deck. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's get into the deck profile here. Here's the deck. We got Cherubini, Pawn Scale on the top. Let's go ahead and go into it to show you guys the list. So starting off, we play the 3 Torn Scale. Obviously, we're playing 3 Torn Scale. This is one of the best cards in the deck, where you can literally just discard any card, and also to send any Phantom Knight card to the graveyard, traps, monsters, whatever the hell you want. And also, when a Phantom Knight card in the graveyard is banished, you get to go ahead and special summon this card from the graveyard. So it's just more protection / more, well, versatility, more extension, and also just more consistency in the deck, which is really, really insane. And you never use this effect on normal summon, because you want to be able to use the adventure package as well now, so you don't use this effect, guys. Be very careful how you utilize this, because you do not want to use this effect if you've normal summoned it, because it just locks you out the Brave engine for the turn. We play 3 Boots, because Boots just says if you control Phantom Knight special summon, it's an extender. You 9 times out of 10 2 level 3s to go into your full combos, so you play this at 3. 2 Cloak, because honestly you only need 2 Cloak. You just send this to the graveyard to go ahead and search your Torn Scales or a Boots or a Greaves. Like, you just use it for extension, just go into that, and also just to boost your Rusty Party sometimes, which is kind of good. 1 Gloves, same reason we only play 1 Cloak, 2 Cloak really. We play 1 of this because the only reason we play 1 of this instead of 2 is because it doesn't add to hand, where this does. So you pretty much just play this because this card says you can go ahead and send any Phantom Knight card to the graveyard, be it a trap card, be it a monster card for more plays such as Cloak. You want to be playing at least 1 of this to just go ahead and have that more consistency factor at times, where you just send this off the Torn Scales to go ahead and send another card to the graveyard to thin out your deck at times as well, which is really, really good. So you just play this at 1 for that. 1 Greaves, you play 1 of this for when you've already used the Boots. So So pretty much if you go on normal summon, Torn Scale, special summon Boots, if when you get Cloak in the graveyard to banish it to go ahead and special summon the Greaves, you just go ahead and get the, well, special summon the Torn Scale, sorry, you just go ahead and get the Greaves, and then you're able to special summon the Greaves, just go from there. So yeah, you play one of this just for that. Then going on to other engines, we play 3 Water Enchantress. Pretty much you play 3 of this for the fact that it literally just says you can go ahead and banish it to add Rite of Armisia from your deck to your hand, and if you control an adventure token, you can go ahead and special summon it from your hand, so it gives you level 3 extension as well. Card is very, very strong, being 3 level extension, well, level 3 extension, and also just being able to add the best card in the deck that says you can play around hand traps, which is Rite of Armisia. So card is very, very good. And then we also play 1 Griffin Rider, because this card is just an Omni Negate, where it says if you control a Brave token, you can special summon itself from your hand as a quick effect, and also you can go ahead and shuffle it into the deck to negate any card or effect, which is very, very strong and just very good. Just have that additional Omni Negate on top of all the other negates that you actually make in this deck. So yeah, 1 Griffin Rider. Then we also play 1 Tracker and 1 Wielder. These are just generic level 3 extension. I wanted to play these because I feel like these are the best level 3 extension for this deck, where it's literally just, oh yeah, I control level 3, I special summon from hand. It's very, very strong, and also they're good with the E-Telly as well, which I think is a very strong card right now as well, seeing as it's a free. Then we also play 1 Seer and 1 Graph. This is literally just in here because I don't play the DPE package. If you play DPE and Scythe, you don't play this engine, but I like it in here because this basically can lead to a lot of new routes that you wouldn't have with the DPE and Scythe engine, where you can just go ahead and send the Graph, summon the Seer, and then go ahead and use the Seer to overlay into like a Levianeer the Sea Dragon, detach the Seer off the Levianeer, summon a level 3, and then go ahead and summon the Graph from the grave and put it in a zone where Cherubini points to, obviously, to then go ahead from there into a lot of other combo plays, where you can just go ahead and make a second Levianeer, you can go into a Dante, you go into a lot of different things, and then go into a Utopic Future Draco, which I think is a really, really strong card this format. So yeah, I just like this engine a lot. I think it's really, really great. I'll be honest, this engine can be a brick at times, just for the fact that, oh yeah, I've opened it, I have other level 3s, I don't have any other level 3s, so I can't use them. But nonetheless, I think this engine is very, very strong, and if you go ahead into Cherubini and you've opened Graph, it's actually fine, because you can just go ahead and go the Brave engine, discard the Graph, and then summon the Seer from deck that way, which I think is really good as well. So the only real brick out of these two is the Seer, because, well, it doesn't do anything if there's nothing engraved, but I like this engine like this anyway, so I just really do like the BAs in the deck. Then the last 2 monsters we're playing is 2 Ash Blossom. Pretty much it's a hard once per turn, and I feel like Ash is becoming less and less useful because a lot of decks can actually chain block the Ash nowadays. And don't get me wrong, this card is very good in a lot of different situations, which is why I play 2. If I wanted to, I'll bump it up to 3. But it's just really space constraints right now that are keeping me from playing out 3. But I just like the card how it is. I feel like other hand traps like Imperm are a lot better though as well, because Flundery, Sword Soul, these decks can just play around things, and Imperm just hits a lot more things. But we still play the Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is really good, and I'm not saying it's a bad card, I just feel like there are better things to play right now. Plus it's a hard once per turn, so if we open double of it, it's just like does nothing half the time, so yeah. But that's all the monsters we play. Definitely very, very strong. All of them are useful, all of them are needed, so we play all of these for that reason. But going on to spell cards, we play 3 Forbidden Droplet. There's no reason not to play 3 Droplet. This card is insane. It does so much throughout the day, and definitely a card that just says, oh, I just discard a ton of cards that don't matter most of the time because they're PKs or Aqua Actresses or Water Enchantress, and just go ahead and use their effects engrave anyway by negating all my opponent's big monsters. So yeah, negating and halving, going into damage, going into battle phase, killing them, and just playing the game, very good. And you need 3 of this in pretty much every deck in my opinion because of that. Next we play 3 Rite of Armisia. This card is insane. This card goes ahead and summons a Brave token. This card goes ahead and plays a Fateful Adventure. This card does everything you want and allows you to get to an Omni Negate, so you play 3 of this. It's insane. This card is nuts. You do not play less than 3. And then obviously we play the 1 Fateful Adventure that gets placed from the deck onto the field with Rite of Armisia. And what this card essentially does is, once per turn, if your Brave token would be destroyed while it's got an equip spell on it, it's not destroyed by battle. And also during your main phase, you can go ahead and add 1 card that lists an adventure token from your deck to your hand, and then send a card from your hand to the graveyard. So you could send a Fogblade, a Wings, you could send any of your PKs to the graveyard, you can send anything really you want to the graveyard to give you that Griffin to get that Omni Negate, which is really, really good. And also the third thing that this card does is when a monster is normal special summoned, you can go ahead and add a Brave token equip spell from your deck to your hand, which is the Draco back, because this card is actually very strong, and this card just does a lot, which is why you play it in the deck, but you only play one because it is a brick outside of that, so you want to only play one. And we obviously only play the one Draco back because this card does a few things. This card is, well, when it's sent to graveyard, you can go ahead and equip it to your Brave token. So if you've got the Brave token on the board, you go ahead and send this to graveyard with Torn Scale, meaning it's a free discard, and then you just go ahead and equip it to have it back on the Brave token. But why you play this as well is because this card technically outs every single floodgate in the game. If you go into your Brave engine and you go ahead and get the Draco back, this card does a lot in the fact that it can go ahead and compulse any card on the board. So if your opponent has a skill drain, this can compulse it. If your opponent has a winder, this can compulse it. If your opponent has literally any card on the board, this card can deal with it. So Draco back is not only a free discard, but it's also removal for all cards, which is very, very strong. So we want to be playing this in the deck as well. And then just going on to other general consistency cards, we play free emergency teleport to go ahead and get free level 3 extension. Obviously one of these do become dead later in the game, but you want to see it in the game early in the game because it gives you more extension, which is really, really strong. I have been debating putting a Ghost Ogre into the deck as well, just to go ahead and give you that additional psychic monster for this card, but I'm currently liking it at free with just the Psychic Builder and Tracker, so we're just going from there for now. And then we also play one Rotor to go ahead and search Torn Scale, Boots, Cloak, whatever you really want that's Warrior, and then one Foolish Burial because this card literally says send Water Enchanters to the graveyard, sends any of your PK to the graveyard, just to give you access into pretty much anything you want in your deck. So that's all the spell cards. Honestly, all the spell cards are fine. I'm very happy with the lineup of spells, and I don't think I'll actually change the lineup because I think it's really, really good as is. Going on to trap cards though, we're obviously playing the 3 Fog Blade and 1 Wings. These are pretty much just, okay, these are monster negates, so they're additional back row negates. If we get Dark Ruler, if we get Droplets, then we have these as backup. And then we play the 1 Wings to just go ahead and send to the graveyard to go ahead and banish it to special summon a PK from graveyard. That's literally all this card is there for. But if you do ever want to use it, you can go ahead and set it, target a monster you control, boosted by 500 permanently, and it can't be destroyed once. So card is very good in that retrospect, but we just mainly use it to send to the graveyard to then special summon a PK from the graveyard. Whole reason behind that. And then finally, free Infinite Impermanence, because this card just says no monster effect can be activated, and I really like this for a lot of reasons. One, it plays around Sythe, so if your opponent's Sythe locks in the standby phase, then you can go ahead and use this. 2, it goes ahead and negates any Flunderies cards, so if they go Flunderies, they can't really play the game from there. And 3, it's just a very, very strong card that can play around a lot of different things and a lot of different decks, that I think this card actually right now is actually kind of better than Ash Blossom because, oh yeah, being able to negate any monster effect is very, very strong. And I feel like the fact that you can just use this in Sword Soul, use it on the Mo Yi, use it against, I don't know, Flunderies, negate the Robina, use this against literally any normal summon monster effect is just really, really strong, and I really do like this, especially seeing it just says negate Sythe and you can't play the game because of, oh yeah, I negated Sythe, or just go ahead and negate the Verti Anaconda to stop them from getting to the DPE, which I think is just really, really good. So I play it at free, and I really have liked it. I really do like it, and in testing it even does really, really well, so we play it at free. Going into the extra deck though, we do obviously play a lot of different things. We play the Cherubiniat one, obviously. This is the best monster in your deck. This card says, oh yeah, 2 level 3s equals any card in my deck. And that is very, very strong just for the fact that, yeah, I can just send the War Enchanters to get the Brave Engine. I can send a PK to go ahead into any PK combos. This card is very, very good, and you want to be playing it in the deck because it just does so much. Like, this card is very, very strong. And the fact that it sends its cost is just very, very dumb. 1 Rusty Bard each, you just play this because it literally says you can go ahead and set a trap card and then also send a PK to the graveyard. Honestly, the more I've been playing this build, the less I've been making this card, but this card is just really, really good at times where at the end of the combo, if I've got a Utopic Future Draco on the board, then I'll just go ahead and make this, make another rank 3 monster, which will normally be the Break Sword, then just use this to pop the Break Sword, and then go ahead and make a Redoer. So we just play this for random things like that, where it can just go ahead and help me make Redoer, and also go ahead and send a PK and set a Fog Blade to the build. That just gives me another negate, which is really nice at times. 1 Nightmare Unicorn for removal. We're only playing this really because we play Access Code Talker, and I feel like this card is just really, really good for that. But one of the misplays I actually made during the day against the Sword Soul Tenyi players, that I should have made this and then gone into Access Code Talker, and that would have won me the match, but I just didn't realize it, and I was bad because of it, so it's my mistake. But yeah, you play the Unicorn for that. 1 Appaloosa. Honestly, debating on cutting this. I don't really make this as often as I would really like, but it's there for the times where you can literally make this, have those additional free negates, and just be in a very good position. So right now I'm still playing it, but I'm not sure if I'll continue doing it. I might cut it, I'm not sure right now, but the fact of the matter is it's a strong card, and I'm not too sure if I do want to continue playing it, but if I do, it's just a very good card nonetheless. One access code talker, yeah, it's access code talker, it helps me OTK, it pops a lot of cards, the card is just very strong, so you play it in the deck regardless. It's just really, really nice. One Dante, it's there to see a Dante loop so I don't die at times. It can mill cards, it very rarely does for me. It only really mills cards when it's like I don't really have any other options and I just need that boost to go ahead and make Zeus, so we play it for that. But pretty much this is here so we see a Dante loop, which does come up quite a bit and is very, very useful nonetheless. 2 Legionnaire, the Sea Dragon. This card is vital. You need to play 2 of this in the deck, because this card is literally just, oh yeah, I summon back my PKs from the banished zone. It lets me go ahead and make 2 to go ahead into the Utopic Future Draco, and then just go into extra link plays further on from there. So the card is very, very strong. You need to be playing 2 of this. 2 Break Sword, late game removal, hop it to go ahead and get 2 level 4s to make Redoer. Therefore, basically that, you do need to play 2 of this card. I would not play this card at 1. I feel 2 is the perfect ratio. 1 Time Thief Redoer, because I think this card is just really, really strong. I know a lot of people play the Evil Swarm Nightmare, but I prefer this just for the fact that you're slowly thinning out your opponent's deck, you're stealing cards from them, you're getting draws, you're getting compulsors, and you're also getting more monsters from them. So it's just like, I like the fact that it just steals your opponent's cards and gives you more advantage from that. So I like the Redoer in the deck over that. But this card is pretty much just here to give me draws, to give me removal, just to be a card that keeps coming back. It's pretty much just there for that. Then 1 Utopic Future to go into the Utopic Future Draco. Pretty much this card is absolutely insane. This card cannot be destroyed by battle card effects. This card is a monster negate that goes ahead and steals your opponent's monster. Like, this card does so much, and I really, really do love it for that fact. Just because, like, the main reason I think this is really, really strong is just the fact that, oh yeah, my opponent activated a monster effect. Cool, I'm going to negate that monster effect, then steal that monster. So it's basically a really powerful snatch steal, and the fact that a lot of, well, Sythe DPE packages can't play this, I feel like this is just stronger than that package in general. So this is the main reason why I choose to play this build, because it just makes you a lot of Omni Negates, it allows you to steal your opponent's cards, and I feel like having that capability is just very, very strong. So I choose to play this package just because of that, and I choose to go against the Sythe DPE for that as well. Just because of having these 2 cards, well, having this 1 card specifically, is just really, really strong. And then finally we play 1 Downerd to go ahead and make a 4 material Zeus, so we can go ahead and have a Zeus on our turn, on our opponent's turn, and then further on down the line as well. Pretty much that's the whole reason behind the Downerd, because it just literally says, oh yeah, I'm going to make 4 material Zeus. But that's the extra deck. Honestly, extra deck, only card I'll probably change is Appaloosa. Not sure I'll change it for. Maybe another rank 3, maybe the new Dark Link 2 that goes ahead and revives from Graveyard, so we can go ahead and go into the Nightmare Unicorn and then to Access Code Talker. Not sure what else I'll change outside of that, but right now I'm very happy with the X deck, and honestly I'm very happy with the deck overall. Like, it performs really well. It's just really, you gotta really know what you're doing if you're not playing Sythe DPE, because if you make slight misplays, you're gonna take a big L from that and it's gonna really suck. But going into the side deck that I played for the day, which is honestly just my own concoction, my choices and my reasoning, we played 1 Barbar of the Burning Abyss, because this card is basically just a time card, where if we go into time, we send a Graph to the graveyard of the Cherubini, then we go ahead and summon this, go ahead and link them away into Rusty Bard each, then we go ahead and burn our opponent for 300 damage, so we just win the game from there, because if they lose 300 life, and we just win because of that. Freelancia, this is pretty much here for the mirror match, this is here for any banished deck, this is here for Flunderies. This card just says that I can't lose the game 9 times out of 10, and just says, yeah, you can't play the game, so I'm going to try and win. Card is very strong. You need to be playing through this right now, because the PK Brave Engine is just really, really strong, and this card stops me, so we need to stop our opponents at times as well, which is really good. 3 Nibiru, our opponents are summoning a lot of monsters, so we play 3 Nibiru. This card is getting less and less good because of the fact that, oh yeah, our opponent has the Brave Engine, so we can't really do much when the opponent summons the Griffin Rider. But I feel like this card is still really strong, because of if you're not playing the Brave Engine and you make a lot of monsters, we just go ahead and reveal Nibiru and we win the game from there. This card is also very, very strong against Tenyi, because on their 5th summon, we just go ahead and drop the Nibiru, and they normally 9 times they can't do anything. So I really do like this because of that. And then for back row removal, we play 1 Duster, 2 Lightning Storm, and then 2 Cosmic. The reasoning behind this is that I want big blowout cards, which are the Lightning Storms and the Duster, because they just do a lot. And then I also want 2 Cosmics, because this card is actually strong against Sythe DPE, and this card is actually strong against the Prank Kids engine as well. For the fact if they set Pandemonium, then we just go ahead and Cosmic it in the standby phase, and then they can't use the Pandemonium, which I think is really, really strong. And it's just a good card in general because of that. We also use it for Eldritch and stuff too, but that's the main reason, just so we can go ahead and banish the Sythe, or we can go ahead and banish the Pandemonium. That's really the main reasons why we play this card in the side deck. But yeah, so we've got our blowout cards, then we've got the utility ones that are just there to prevent our opponent from doing stuff. And then finally we play 3 Evenly Matched. I think this card is very strong in this format because, well, if we just bait out the Griffin Rider, they just lose their entire board because they can't banish the Brave token. And if you're wondering why does that work, it's because pretty much you're up against any Brave deck. They do not have the Griffin Rider anymore because you bait the negate. You drop the Evenly Matched, they have to banish every card they control but the Brave token because you're unable to banish tokens face down. So Evenly Matched is just very, very strong against the Brave engine, and that's the reason I play it mainly now, because it just says, oh, you can't win if you do that. But we also play it for other reasons as well, such as, oh, we're playing against Eldritch, they have Heavenly Prison. Well, this card just gets rid of everything along those lines. Oh, we're up against a big board and we've already baited one of the negates. Well, we just drop the Evenly, you lose 90% of your board. Like, this card has a lot of utility use outside of obviously just the Brave token engine, but I like this card really right now because, oh yeah, you have 1 Brave token, sick. You got rid of the Griffin Rider, sick. I'll drop the Evenly and just make you lose your entire board. But yeah, that's just logic behind my side deck right now. Honestly, you can decide whatever the hell you want. It's really up to you. Like, if you don't want to play the Nibiru's, you don't have to. If you don't want to play the Lightning Storms, you don't have to. If you don't want to play the Evenlys, you don't have to. This is just what I choose to decide right now for this deck. But yeah, that is the entire deck. Honestly, I am very, very happy with this deck in general. It's a very powerful deck and a very strong deck for a lot of different reasons. The fact that it does have a lot of different things, the fact that I can just play around hand traps, the fact that it's just really, really good, it always has advantage, always has resources to use. I really do like the fact of this deck because of that. But guys, that's just my version of the deck. As I said, I don't play Sythe DPE for a lot of reasons, such as just bricking, not having as much consistency, taking up extra deck slots. I feel like it just does a lot of more bad things to this deck than it does good. So I chose to play a build that just says I make a lot more negates, I end on a much stronger board, and I'm just more consistent overall. But guys, what is your personal thoughts of this list in the comment section below? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Do you think that me telling that I made misplays is wrong? You can judge that from when you see the video if you do watch the match with the 10-Yi Sword Soul player. But guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next one, because yeah, you're going to be seeing a hand testing video of this soon, and you're also going to be seeing matches with this soon. So thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Robot1 signing out. This deck is really, really strong. I love it.